Welcome to Ocean Stories, a podcast hosted by me, Lydia Carey,
and me, Sarah Hersping. We may not be marine experts or even professional scuba divers, but we are curious about the ocean and ways to protect it.
Every week, we chat with conservationists, researchers, business owners, and anyone else with an ocean story to tell.
So whether you're a scientist or someone who's simply curious about the big blue, you're in the right spot. We can't save the seas alone,
but we can do it together.
Hi, I'm Bridget, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3. Thank you.
Of the Ocean Stories?
Of Ocean Stories podcast. Should I restart?
No, that's great.
Cut it. Hi, welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Ocean Stories podcast. I'm Bridget, I'll be your host today.
Guest host.
I'm a friend of Lydia's. We met in Mallorca. And here we are in San Diego hosting episode 3. So we're going to do a little get to know you with our Ocean Story girls. So I have some questions for them.
Oh my god, we're the Ocean Story girl.
I have a little beverage note, and I'm going to open it for ASMR on the camera. Hopefully. I hope that was enjoyable and didn't break your ears off.
That was amazing. Okay, are you ready for your first question?
Yes.
Sarah.
Oh my god.
If you could describe yourself in 3 words, what words would you use?
First of all, how scary to be on the other side. I understand why some of our guests are nervous. This is nerve-wracking. If you don't know what's happening, do you know 3?
Well, yes, but it's because we talk about this
we've
a lot.
talked about this.
Oh my god, I need a second.
Okay, Lydia
I
first.
literally don't know.
Lydia, if you could describe yourself in 3 words.
Thank you. Great question. I would say passionate. Why? Because that has been a topic of conversation lately. Apparently, I get really passionate when I talk, and that is something people have been telling me. Adventurous, also. And the third one, I'm going to go haywire on the third one.
Okay.
Goes like wild card. I'm going to give myself a positive description. I feel like I'm very thoughtful.
Yeah.
At least in my head, definitely got a lot of thoughts. So
She'd be thinking.
I'd be thinking.
She'd be thinking.
There's definitely a lot of thoughts, and I feel like that kind of describes me. Do you have yours now?
Maybe. Okay, I feel like it will definitely be adventurous. It will be... What's like a word for the opposite of routine? Like
spontaneous?
Oh, spontaneous.
I feel like I used to be more spontaneous, but I probably still have it in me somewhere. I feel like I'm in a transitional period right now where a lot of things that would have described my character are mellowing out a little bit, and now I don't really know anymore. Like, I'm very different than what I used to be.
Sarah Reborn.
Which is, it probably comes with the territory I'm in right now, because I used to be like, so restless all the time, just wanting to travel around and go to the next spot and like explore, and if someone was like, let's hop on a plane tomorrow, I'd be like, yes, I just need to be somewhere where it's warm and nice. But now that I am somewhere where it's warm and nice, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to leave, I just want to be at the beach and go surf. So I feel like my character changed, and now I don't know how to answer this, but probably still a little restless, definitely spontaneous, adventurous, probably competitive.
Ooh.
Not so much anymore. It used to be way worse, but it's definitely inside of me. Part 2, we just realized that we did not have a microphone plugged in. Silly.
Okay, question number 2. If you could be any ocean animal, what animal would you be and why?
I would be a dolphin because you can swim fast, you can jump, you're very smart, you can have relationships, mess around. Dolphins are like bullies. I wouldn't be a bully, but I would have the power that dolphins have. This was just like a gut instinct answer. They're very mobile. They live, like, I know they're different species of dolphins, but they live like in so many climates in the world. I could like really have my pick of where I want to go. And then people love me as a dolphin.
I always wanted to say dolphin, but the more I learn about there being like bullies and like not only bullies but bad bullies, I'm like, I don't know if maybe I want to escape that world and just be a little brain dead, like be a little jellyfish, not have any thoughts. It would be kind of cool for a day to not like be conscious, and I feel like dolphins are very conscious. Also, because of recent episodes, I want to be like a killer whale, because I feel like you are the apex predator. I mean, you can literally eat a freaking great white shark. What else do you want to do? And they're social structures. They're on one. I want to know how they think. I feel like I would be an orca. And they are so pretty and unique looking. Like, I'm really, really vibe with their appearance.
Question number 3. Okay. If you were stranded on a desert island, 3 things you would bring.
The first thing that came into my mind was my AirPods, which is hilarious because I don't even have my AirPods right now. One of them fell in the ocean, and I was really devastated because it was ocean litter. I literally contributed to ocean plastic. And I'm not saying it like I'm proud of it. I'm not proud of it. It was a complete accident, obviously, okay, before you come for me. I opened the AirPods case, and one of them like flew out and then bounced like on all these cliffs, bounced and went and fell into the water, and it was like way too deep there to try, and you would have never been able to find it. I just love those things. Like, they were my lifeline. They were everything.
Okay, I need to protect myself from weather, and I need to have food. Lydia just has AirPods without a phone. She just sticks AirPods in so she can sleep with noise cancellation on. If you only had one food, I'm always thinking watermelon. You got so much sugar and so much water. Like, you don't need a drink if you eat watermelon. So I would have an endless supply of watermelons. Let's see how far you can go with that. And for entertainment, maybe my Kindle. No, you know what I would take on a deserted island? Starlink, my phone, and I would freaking call someone to get me off there, because now we can have service anywhere in the world. I feel like this question doesn't work anymore because we have Starlink now.
In these situations, I always think about like being vegetarian. If I were to be in a plane crash or some situation where I was stranded, I would have to eat fish and meat. I feel like it would be really silly in that situation to be like, no, I'm not going to eat any fish, because
I love how you're like, I feel like that would be really silly. I'm like, yeah, you would literally be dead. That is for a fact really silly in that situation. You would just literally kill yourself.
maybe there's enough plants and fruits and vegetables, and I could eat insects to start.
Okay, if you could meet any historical figure, who would it be and why?
He's not a historical figure, but I always say David Attenborough, and I guess he's close to be one, maybe. I mean, he's so old. I'm sad. No, I want him to be around forever and have him the superpower, but he's the one person that if I was going to have dinner with someone dead or alive, it would be him.
My guy is also alive still. Mine is the Dalai Lama, the current one. He just impacted my life a lot, and I would love to talk to him. I would love to have talked to maybe a younger version of him when he was more like with it, and just talk about his ideas and like the state of the world now, and does he really think that like those theories hold up like with how the world is progressing and things like that. I know he would say yes.
I just saw that question and it's kind of related. It's, what is the book that you've read recently that you absolutely loved? Which my answer could not be more random. It is Scar Tissue by Anthony Kiedis, which is the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And believe me or not, I literally thought I didn't know a single song by them, which obviously I did, because you know every single song because they're that famous. But he actually visited the I can't even say his name. The Dalai Lama. And there's like a whole chapter about it. So that's why I just thought about it. It's crazy. He literally visited, like he hung out with every single person you've ever heard. It's like so crazy. And it's the craziest book I've ever read. And I wish, it's like one of those things I just want to erase that from my memory so I can just read it again and again and again. Well, that's in Twilight, obviously. It's my favorite book in the world. It's a no-brainer.
Oh, that just made me think of another question that my mom asked me recently. Oh, okay, the book. I actually haven't been reading that much recently since I moved. I can't think of my favorite book right now. Okay, then. Honestly, I used to say A Policy of Kindness by the Dalai Lama, because it changed me. It changed a lot for me, but I don't know if that's my most favorite book. My biggest takeaway that I could succinctly say in one sentence would be that forgiveness frees you, and anger is allowing someone else to have power over you. Being angry at someone or angry at something gives all your power away. But forgiving, you get all of it back. And I was like 15 when I read that. and it totally changed some of the relationships I had in my life. Okay, the question my mom asked me was, if you could show someone one movie that you felt like totally represented you, what would you show? And I know what you're going to say, but I immediately knew my answer. Wait, what do you...
I mean, every single person that has ever interacted with me knows that it would be Mamma Mia. Like, that is just my life in a movie, and that's all I want from my life. And that's, if you ask me what my dream is, it's to be just on repeat in the Mamma Mia movie. I don't want anything else.
Yeah, that's really good. I do love that movie. Wait, what would you say? Do you know what your movie would be?
Yeah, I think so.
So, okay, bonus answer.
I think Eat, Pray, Love, for sure. Is that yours?
No, but that's
okay.
a really good one.
I think Eat, Pray, Love. Yeah, like I just really, traveling and all of that really resonated with me. So yeah, Eat, Pray, Love.
That is a really good one, and I want to reread that because every time one of my friends reads the book, they send me pages and they're like, "This is so you," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I feel really like complimented because she's an author," and I'm like, "I'm trying to write a book." Mine was Little Women. Have you guys seen it? The new one, the 2017. There's so many things in it that I love, like the sisterhood of like the girls. Like, I love my girlfriends. They're like so important to me. Like, I think about them every day, how much I love them. And the thing with Joe and the scene with Lori of her being like, I want to be single. I don't even know if I'll ever get married. I don't want to be married. We're going to fight all the time, but he loves her so much. That's such an iconic scene. And then she goes and lives her life and does her thing on her own and has like this amazing monologue about how actually she's lonely. And I just feel like that is such a like beautiful representation of like things that women go through.
Okay, next question. Okay,
No,
a wise person once asked me, okay, we're always thinking like about things that have happened in the past or fixating on future plans. So do you feel like you think more in the past, in the future, or are you pretty in the present?
Personally, I don't think I've ever been someone who lived in the past. I don't really ever overthink things from the past, or like I used to be like crazy fixated on the future, like having, I don't know, I remember in like high school I would literally have like calendars and cross out the days for like point X and day X and whatever in the world. But then at the same time, one thing that I can't, like, that I literally don't have the mental capacity to do is like plan far ahead in the future. Like, I remember even when I was 16, I would never push something to like 2 years from now because I would be like, who knows if I'm still around? But not in like a scary way either. Like, I'm not constantly scared to be dying at all. But that's just like one thing that has always, like, I feel like I was born with that. So I have like maybe like within the next year of the future, that's where most of my thoughts are. But I'm trying to have a lot of present thoughts, and I feel like I'm getting a lot better. And I realized that once you kind of calm your nervous system and you're not in like a fight or flight, which I have been for a long time, it's way easier to stay in the present, because a lot of like, I don't know, a wise person very close to me always says, if you worry about what's in the future, you're going to worry about it
I really think about the past a lot, way more than I want. Sometimes I ruminate. Sorry, kill me, I'm a human. I ruminate sometimes. I also relish in beautiful memories in the past quite often when it comes across my mind. And then the future, I think about like the future in terms of the next 6 months. And for the present, I think a lot about like what I'm doing that day. I spend a lot of time like thinking about the next moment. Like if I'm working, I'll think tonight I'm going to do this. Or like on Monday, I was like, on Thursday, we're watching Survivor. And then every day of the week, I was just thinking on Thursday, Survivor, Thursday, Survivor. And I'm like, that's not good. I need to like enjoy the day that I'm in, or the actual moment. Because like, even though I'm just today, for example, thinking about all the things going on today, I'm still always thinking about like what is coming next, or like, yeah. So that's what I think. Bridget does this thing that I really admire because I seriously think it's like a meditation thing, but like natural.
Yeah, okay, so I never thought of it as meditation, but I guess it kind of is. But ever since I was a kid, I feel like I was like 7 years old, I would just like sit there in total silence, like no music or anything, with my eyes open and just like, I call it processing. It's my processing. But I just like sit there and like allow thoughts to come, but I'm like kind of blank at the same time. Like I'm just I guess it is meditation, but I've been doing it since I was a kid. And
every day.
and people think I'm weird because like I'll literally get home from work or whatever and I'll just lay in bed, no music, nothing, eyes open, just like thinking. Like like I look like a mummy. But I think it's a cool way to be present, I guess, and process everything that you're going through.
I do that too, and I have always done that. I'll sit in the car and I'll just drive with no music on. And I don't even it's not that I'm thinking something through, but I'm just letting my brain do whatever it wants. And it doesn't bore me. And sometimes it's really quiet in there. And I do the same thing when I go to the beach. Like sometimes I'll read, but sometimes I'll just lie there. And I do that. I sometimes lie in bed too, and I'll just stare at the wall. And then sometimes whoa, I've just been staring at the wall. And I don't even really know what's going on. Yeah. I feel like it's kind of like a meditation. Yeah. But I also feel like I sometimes just need to give my brain that space.
We're always consuming so much media in this day and age. Like we're always like scrolling, and I don't know, we're always listening to music, have AirPods and things like that. So it's nice just to have a break to, process.
I thought of another question. I saw it on a Q&A of an Instagrammer, is that a thing? Of an influencer that we like. And it's, what is something that like nobody would ever be able to tell about you just like based on your Instagram? I was thinking on Instagram specifically because I just feel like I assume things about people based on the photos that they put and the vibe of their Instagram. And I'm assuming that people assume things about me. If there's at least 6 photos, I definitely am assuming something about their personality based on what the vibe is. And we've talked about this a lot. I've been really wrong before. Like I've been really wrong. Actually with Bridget specifically, like I looked at Bridget's Instagram and I didn't think that we would be besties. And it just turned out that that was not true.
It might also be a lot of you can have a really close friend and love them dearly, but have completely different aesthetics, for example. Yeah. I have friends I love so much, but we are, not that I don't appreciate their aesthetics or don't like them, but they don't necessarily resonate with. But generally speaking, I feel like a lot of people always call me very chill, but I don't think about that. Think that about myself too much. I don't know, maybe chill in social settings, but I can be really anxious and freaking out about things 24/7, and it's probably only the closest 3 people to me that get the full force, and they're oh my god, what in the world is going on in your brain? So I feel most people are always oh yeah, you're so chill, blah blah blah. And I'm I mean sometimes, but a lot of the time nothing in this brain is chill. And then I'm okay, I guess that's just what everyone is assigns me to be, and I can be, but
because I feel for traveling, what I think of most is people. Okay, 2 things. One is people in my life that I know, when we talk, will say, "You seem like you're thriving." People say that to me all the time. Yeah. And thank you guys. I'm really happy. I am thriving, kind of. But a lot of the times, I was not thriving at all. I was miserable. I was really in a difficult spot. And so what I started doing when that first started happening, when I first moved abroad, was I would stop posting whenever I wasn't happy. And I would really try to only add things to my story when I was happy, which meant that I would not post for a month, and then one day on my stories I would put up 60 pictures. Do you remember? I kind of remember this era of me, and I felt that was a little bit more accurate to, okay, well, I'm gonna post these beautiful views when I'm actually happy, so that people don't just assume. And then the other thing is I think people really assume things financially.
That was immediately what I thought of, because I feel obviously I'm not in the best financial situation, but from my Instagram, you see me going to all these places, and people have literally messaged me how do you pay for that? People from high school and stuff. So I feel a lot of times people just automatically assume that your parents give you money and things like that, which is not the case. I've been in some crazy situations, sleeping on hostel chairs and stuff because I didn't have enough money to pay for it that night. But people just assume that, yeah, you're rich, you're traveling all the time, you must have so much money given to you.
I feel that's a huge thing with social media, because I feel a lot of people look a lot richer in their online presence than they actually are. I don't know, so often it's how in the world do you do XYZ? And then they're actually like in credit card debt to do that. But it looks to the outside world as if they have these large amount of monies. And I feel like that puts a lot of pressure onto a lot of people because they're like, why have I not figured that out? But it's really easy to make yourself look a lot more wealthy on the internet than you actually are.
Do you like candy and or soda or chocolate? And what is your favorite one? I used to hate soda and I started drinking it as an adult, like when I started drinking alcohol. And now I drink carbonated drinks all the time. But my entire childhood, I literally hated carbonated drinks. Fun Lydia trivia.
I feel like that's a cultural question because in Germany you drink carbonated water. And it's like almost, yeah, it's almost weird. Like if you're the family that drinks tap water, people are like, whoa, those are the people that drink tap water.
Question. When you're like, if you're going to like work out or like run a 5K, do you drink carbonated water? Because I feel like that does not quench my thirst.
Whoa, that's so interesting because to me, only carbonated water actually quenches my thirst. I don't do that.
Crazy.
I do not do that when I run necessarily because it kind of like gives me tummy aches. And my parents still to this day will not drink tap water. Like I don't think they'll ever drink anything that's not carbonated. But still I go through phases. I had like I just had to do like a crazy diet health wise. And couldn't eat any sugar, and then I realized, okay, once it's out of your system you actually don't crave it, and as soon as you eat it you crave it right away, and it's just straight up a drug. Like, and ever since I did this crazy diet for, I feel like if I say crazy diet, it sounds like I have like
you have to explain. It was like a medical thing.
It was a medical diet. It was a medical diet because we don't know what I had. I brought something home from Bali. Bali belly extended to be a 2-year thing, and I had to do this insane diet to get fun, like be okay, guys. It was a medical diet. So I was literally not allowed to have any sugar, not even fruit. And ever since I did that, I see sugar as a full-on drug. Like, not like as a crazy drug, just like how caffeine is a drug and nicotine is a drug, but it is full-on a drug, and you can fully quit it and then you don't crave it anymore. I think I recently heard something like whatever's in your gut is what you crave. So if you constantly eat it, you'll constantly crave it. Okay, this was a long answer to this really short question. Sorry about it. But I love soda. That's like probably my number one. I do like chocolates, but everything in the US is a lot sweeter than it is in Europe. And I get really overwhelmed with how sweet things are here. So I feel like it's easier for me to eat less sweet things here because I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah, I definitely get that. I feel like a lot of times eating chocolates and stuff in the US, I get like a bad taste in my mouth after. Like it leaves like a weird...
It tastes like artificial.
Yeah, like this fake thing. So I'm a big like snacker, like salty snacks. Like Cheez-Its have always been my weakness. Like Cheez-Its, chips. Like I feel like I could kill like a whole bag of family-sized Doritos. Yeah, like... salty snacks. I'm a salty snack girl.
That makes me think of another whole other question, which is, are you an ingredients household or a snacks household? But we can't even get there yet, because like as a kid I really loved candy. Obviously I think all kids do. As a teenager I loved ice cream. Like I would eat so much ice cream. Ice cream was my favorite food every single day. And then in college, you could buy Ben and Jerry's tubs on the meal plan. I don't understand how my metabolism was handling that. That was an amazing time in my life. But yeah, and then I kind of like stopped because sugar, trying to see if it would like affect my skin at all. And then living in Spain, I feel like we didn't really have the biggest sugar thing I had in my diet was alcohol. And then now that I've come back, my addiction to like sugar has gone through the roof because there are so many products here that have sugar in them. And because there's just so many different desserts here. Like I got these wafer chocolate things, I got dark chocolate peanut butter cups, I got this coffee ice cream from Trader Joe's that was seriously like the best ice cream I've had ever. All of a sudden I like sparkling water, which I've never liked that in my life.
I feel like the US is just, I guess, less regulated with a lot of foods, but I feel like it's common knowledge that people know, like, okay, things in the US, like a lot of things that are legal in the US are banned in other countries, but it's just so true. And whenever I'm just like, holy crap, like whenever I go back to Europe and then come back here, I'm like, they just make things more addictive. Like, it's crazy. It's definitely true. Things. So back to like the snack and ingredient, I feel like I turned into an ingredient household since I'm here, because I want to have more control. I also use, everyone knows, the Yuka app that we use to scan our skincare products. I scan everything that's in my house. Like, I don't eat anything that's not scanned by the app. But that's like a more recent thing. I started that 2 years ago. I didn't grow up like that at all.
I would not like buy candy, but what I do like, ever since it like blew up a few years ago on TikTok, is candy salad. Like once every 6 months. Candy salad is so fun, and there's something super fun about giving yourself like the worst stomach ache ever and just eating just all those chemicals, like all the red dye, just feeling awful. Your fingers are like shriveling up from the sugar coating on everything. Candy salad, it's so fun. And like with a movie, and you don't even notice, like all of a sudden you've just eaten like the whole candy salad. It's horrible. And another thing is, like, a lot of candies are not vegetarian because of the gelatin. So that's also like an issue for me.
Should we do a last question? I think we should wrap it up.
Yes. What is your guys's dream situation with the podcast? Like, what would be the perfect situation or perfect thing to come out of the podcast?
A lot of fun trips where we can actually experience all the things that we talk about, living off the podcast, and yeah, expanding the whole thing a little bit more. Those are like the ones for myself, but overall, obviously, like spreading, I don't know, it would be awesome if we could have like some events where you could actually feel the impact and actually hands-on have an impact on our oceans and the environment. Because I know like spreading stories and raising awareness is definitely a big part in like conservation, but sometimes that it doesn't feel like it's enough, or that you can't really see the outcome. I feel like if you do a beach cleanup and the beach was dirty and then it's clean after, you have like the physical proof that something happened, but like having conversations and just spreading the word sometimes feels like, I don't know, it's like so hard. You can't measure it. I guess that's my competitive, not competitive, but I just need to have to see something like actually happening. I don't know how that would look. I guess we couldn't just like drive out on a boat and stop seismic blasting with our hands, but I don't know. Well, it will come up in the future, and hopefully maybe I'm just gonna say something stupid right now. We'll start a turtle sanctuary, but you know, that's not what I meant. But something like more hands-on.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be cool. Ocean Stories Turtle Sanctuary? Like, that would be cool. That's dreaming big. I love it. I don't know what was the question again? My favorite.
Like, what do you hope can come out of the podcast? What would be like the most ideal situation?
I feel like we've talked about this a little bit. We have so many ideas, and it would be like really awesome if we could have the time and like financial ability to carry them out, because like ultimately our impact can only be as big as how much time we're able to put in, and that is heavily influenced by life, which is sometimes has financial components. But we also, I think it's not like this has happened millions of times, but the handful of times that a random person has reached out to us and said that they liked the podcast or like connected with it, every time that happens, we freak out, like still. Yeah. Even if it's someone that I know that I just feel that they actually genuinely enjoyed it and didn't just listen because they feel like they had to because they're my friend, but they like actually got something out of it. That is the best feeling ever. It makes it feel like everything we did is worth it. So if that would happen more times, then that would be perfect. That would be a great outcome. I think, I know that, does that sound like really cheesy? No. I feel like that would be awesome, because it's true. We have had people and we're like, how did you find this? But thank you.
Any last words?
I'm ready for you, our guest host, to just close it out.
Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. We had some great discussions about the Dalai Lama, about different books. I hope you got to know these interesting hope you got to know these interesting podcast ladies a little bit more. Thanks again from your host, me, Bridget, and have a great day.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Ocean Stories.
If you'd like to follow along on Instagram, you can find us at oceanstories_podcast for updates and behind the scenes.
We'll also be sharing our ocean adventures on YouTube at Ocean Stories Podcast. If you like this episode, please show your support by leaving a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Join us next Tuesday for more ocean stories.